calculations, do we have really anything?
No.
So we could get caught on this for 20 minutes, or what do we do?
Move on. Uh, 33 Askin shop. It's a number 4 with the 6s.
Okay, so I'm going
Seems.
to tell you right now what I would have done is went long and shop based off yesterday.
Oh.
That that was my first trade. I've been watching it as you've been talking.
Oh.
Yeah, you want to trade a story stock? We have a story, don't we?
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Anyways, we have these 33s slightly above or maybe above print personality. I don't really know how it prints at controlling levels. We have the 06s that came in after. Print personality without taking into account like the difference between major and minor levels is 2. Pull back to 3250. At this point, pull back to 3250 psych, trigger off of it with no selling coming in. No real selling coming in since those 6s. When you're watching for building, you're looking more at the this time in sales, right? Not the filtered.
no,
I
I'm
guess it
I'm
depends on the stock.
still looking at filtered because building. I mean, right now in shop, if we look at what its actual print personality is, if they want to print, we shouldn't have a problem seeing it.
Right, right.
So, in the case of calculations, if it was a stock that's really thin and there's a lot of in between, but if you notice, it still prints.
Hmm.
So if it was one of those stock that's really thin, I'm going to use my calculations to it and as my expectations of what's happening at certain levels. But in this one, there's no reason to do that. I mean, it's showing prints.
Okay, I see what you mean. So really only use uh the time and sales if you need to. Other than that, stick to the filtered if they're going to show in filtered because we are following market makers after all.
Yeah, and not for nothing, but like I want a market maker to show me some ballsy prints. Just going off the smaller time and sales is great if I'm managing a trade because I'm already in it, but that's not a reason I'm going to take it.
Hmm. Okay. At this point, I'm just waiting to see if we do see another market maker in here, but I would be comfortable taking a trigger up in this. Although I would want to see it, or I would, yeah, so like right there.
See, I love that you know when triggers are, but I haven't heard one calculation from you.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah, well, I mean, no,
3350.
I did get one. So pull back to 3250, you're okay with.
Yeah,
But what about the rest?
3350 price target, 20-cent risk based off that. Going from 3250 to 3350, that'd be $1. So I'm willing to risk for
No,
this
but
amount.
see, but think the pullback part doesn't count with the amount of money they need to make off their position.
Oh,
So it pulls if you
oh,
have S prints at 33 and it pulls back to 3250, that's not the dollar. The dollar is from 33 to 34 because that's where the position you're actually following is.
gotcha. Okay, okay. So would only be willing to risk 10 cents, 10 to 12 off of that trigger, right?
Why?
Because it's only 50 cents. Or wait, hold on. I'm overthinking this. It's the move from the entry to the price target is the room that you have, and based off that, what you're willing to risk. So if you got in at 32.70, that's 70 cents from 32.70 to 33.50. So then you're willing to risk like 15 cents.
If 3350 is your price target.
Right.
So it's still my trade. I'm just following the person that's telling me what the trade is going to be. So if
Mhm.
my price target is let's call it 3350 from the stock, if I get in 3370, Okay, that trigger means I have 70 cents, so that allows my price target a little, excuse me, my loss to be a little bit higher.
Mm,
You see what I
mhm.
mean? But so
Yes,
like we have to incorporate our trade in the in the middle of what the market maker is telling us the stock is actually going to do.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a place I need to improve on too. That makes a lot more sense.
I mean, not for nothing, if you would have clicked the button, this would have been a great trade.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But you need to be way more calculated in what your expectations of things are going to be. In this case, 34 is probably the real price target. 33.50. If you want to be conservative on your first trade, I really don't have a problem with that. But at the end of the day, so if we know it's going to 33.50, if the stock pulls back to 32, that's $1.50. That's how I make my calculation on my trade. You understand what I mean? And in
Yeah.
all reality, those 33 prints that came in, those were higher than print personality. Higher than print personality gives us more than 33.50. But like I said, I'm not, I don't really care that much if you're going to start your first trade of the day, but that has to be the reason for it. Because this stock has told you that it has way more room to be able to go up to the upside than 33.50. But we're, conservative first trade of the day, you're already at your price target.
Hmm.
It's not a bad day already.
No, not at all. And then in terms of management, some 3350 ask, but those aren't too much above print personality. And some 64s there, so you wouldn't be taking anything off. Or I wouldn't be taking anything off.
I want to give you just something that's going to make things a lot easier for yourself. So those 33.50, okay, they came in, they definitely mean something. Do they mean a lot? Nah, not really, just like you said. More of a short term, maybe quick pullback and then continues up. But what did 33 do? And how does that compare to 33? Use what you've already been shown.
Um, okay, so 30, it's the same. Actually, I don't know if those hit on the ask or if they were actually above ask. So they both printed at a controlling level, but the 3350 is smaller.
Okay, how many prints were at 33? Do you remember? Because I do.
6.
5. But I mean,
Wow.
it's kind of irrelevant. But I mean, it's the same number, 5 or 6. Where but you should know, if you're going to write down an exact number, then make sure the number. I usually write 5 plus, or just use shorthand because again, that print's not really going to matter. Right afterwards, do you remember what the print showed?
The
Oh,
06s?
you're looking at, yeah. So 3306. I'm looking at my own screen right now just because, but 3306. So what does that tell us? That we're gonna have a real short pullback, right? They
Right.
came in afterwards, they told us, so we got that exact same thing. So that they already showed us a market maker that's controlling the stock to make money. So when we come up to 3350, I'm using that as my comparison.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? I don't like to guess. I don't like to think. I don't like to do work that I don't have to do. So if they've already shown me that, when we come up to 3350 and we see those prints come in, I want to see, does it react similar or the same or different? And I'm going to use that as my benchmark for what my scale of my expectations are going to be because I've already seen it work out. It did I mean, literally. So we have those 33 prints, the 3306 that come in. You said pull back to 3250, trigger up 3350 as your price target. I mean, come on. This is perfect, right? So when we come up
Hmm.
to 3350, my expectations are going to be right around exactly what we saw at 33 because that was a perfect case scenario. It just worked. It fit the puzzle perfectly. Market maker signature behavior, and that's really at the end of the day what it is. So we came into 33.50. Did we get the short-term prints coming in afterwards like we did before?
I don't know how these 64s printed.
No, they're above the ask.
Okay, so no,
Okay.
we did not.
So if you don't know how they printed, you go just buy your prints. See, this is the thing that you guys get so caught up in the different colors, okay? But the colors are what your pattern recognition is going to be no matter what. So if you didn't see it, it's not, I'm not sure. They're just above the ask. That's what your tape says. So can you use above the ask prints?
Nope.
No. So we got a real, a 33 came to 32.50. That's a 50-cent pullback. And that was when it had now short-term prints coming into it. So now when we come up to our 33.50 and we print, but we don't have that short term, how do we judge that pullback now?
It's gonna be a longer pullback.
And monetarily
and
will be
a monetarily bigger pullback. So
there we
32.50
go.
makes sense because it's the psychological level as well.
Well, 33.50 is
that
not a
doesn't matter.
psychological level.
Or I meant 32.50.
Yes, well, 30. But do you
But
see
that
like
doesn't
how
matter
we
because
can
it's based off the prints. Yeah.
exactly? You see how we can judge exactly what's going to happen by so when they show us something and then it happens, like when a stock starts following your the exact movements of exactly what you thought was going to happen, now we can use that to judge. So those 33.50s, yeah, they weren't as big as 33, but they didn't have any type of short term. So if I know that it pulled back 50 cents from 33 with short term, what can I expect for it to pull back from 33.50?
Longer term and monetarily bigger
Monetarily
pullback.
bigger. So if I'm managing my trade and I see that, because again, this is the first trade of our day, so we just hit it right on the nail on the head. You knew exactly 32.50 pullback. We're going to take that trigger up. Okay, 33.50 is going to be our price target, and then 33.50 comes in, and we see those prints, but without any type of shorter term, and we already know it pulled back 50 cents from previously. What do we have to do in the management of our trade?
Take off 80%.
Mm-hmm. We we have to take off a huge amount.
Got it. Okay. Got to stop assuming what the prints are and really zone in and focus on the patterns that I'm given because those tell the story what the stock is going to do.
And that's
And
exactly it.
yeah.
It already told us. Now, does that mean that this stock isn't going back up?
No.
No, I can just expect a
Yeah.
longer pullback than what we saw at first. Okay, and a bigger monetary amount. So I know that am I going to have the chance to get another entry in this stock?
Absolutely.
No question, right? So why would after 33.50 and it gives that little push above, why would I care about any other aspect of it? Because I know I'm going to get the big
Same.
pullback, and statistically speaking, I have the chance of getting another entry and a good entry.
Yeah. The risk to reward isn't there anymore.
Hmm. But do you see, the biggest thing that I always try to do with my trading is take my thinking out. And I'm not because I'm just following somebody. So I take my thinking out and I use their thinking. What's the best way to use someone's thinking? Well, see what they did and watch exactly what happened. So from there, now I have that baseline to judge where my scale's set.
Oh, okay. I see.
We when we file, they do all the research for us. So when they show us something, that's where we set because we know that's the person that was controlling the market. I mean, what better market maker is there a better market maker that comes in? Remember, we talk about difficulty of trade. Is there going to be a better market maker than the one that immediately shows prints when the market opens?
No, those are the best because
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
because
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And why are they the best?
because they know what's gonna happen.
I want you to put it on even a smaller level. Think about yourself. When the market opens, okay, how much confidence do you need to have to be able to click the button instantly?
Very high confidence.
You have to think about yourself. When the market
Oh,
opens, it's a scary thing to then just click the button unless you actually know what's going to happen. So when you see a market maker come in right at that point, I mean they have ice in their veins because they're not trading, 1,000 shares, a few hundred shares, or so. You're talking about big money here. So someone coming in like that, and then it's showing you exactly what they do. I can now know that person is in this stock. That's how they trade. I can gauge other things based off what they showed me.
got it, got it. Thank you, Rich. That I'm looking forward to rewatching this.
Trevor,
Very
great
excited.
job as always.
Thank you.